Hello there, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Nythical, and I'm here to discuss a spoiler-free review of Fantastic Four First Steps with you guys today. I am going to let the comment section be open to spoilers because I am going to do a little bit of a spoiler section towards the ending of the video. Don't worry, you will get a warning before we hop into that section. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't go to the comments. You've been warned now. And I want to discuss the post-credit scene so bad. So that's why I was like, I have to put a spoiler section in this video. Okay, let's hop right to it. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It was funny, exciting. It had a great family dynamic and gave us a great intro to this new set of characters for the MCU. Obviously, the retrofuturism was super exciting to see something a little bit different than we're used to in the Marvel Universe. I say new characters because obviously these aren't new characters, but they are going to be new for us and the Avengers, if that makes sense. I personally love the casting. I think that all of them had great chemistry on screen. It felt like they were a family. I just enjoyed every time that they were all talking together, and it was funny. They were great. I had some really heartwarming moments, even some that brought me to tears. Now, if you don't know, I am pregnant, so with my first child. So I feel like I connected a lot to the storyline, more than I was expecting to. Like, I knew I was gonna get emotional in some parts. The first half of the movie, I was tearing up a lot. It was very refreshing to see mom strength, mom energy, because that is something that is newer into the MCU. Obviously they did it with Wanda and Agatha, and I feel like now they're doing it with Sue, and I just feel like it is a great story for anybody. This is a great movie for anybody to watch, but if you are a parent or a mom, I think that you're going to relate a lot to this movie and this story, and I think it's going to touch your heart a little bit. The CGI, in my opinion, was pretty good. I definitely think it was a lot better than we have seen recently in movies that use a lot of CGI. I personally had no problems with the baby. There are a lot of people talking about the CGI baby. I thought it was pretty good, actually. I think the only reason I would say that it didn't seem like it was a real baby is because the baby was so expressive in some parts. But I've seen people comparing it to the Twilight baby. Guys, it's not nearly as bad as that. Believe me, trust me, I've watched Twilight, all of the Twilight movies, a lot of times. Okay, I never once was watching the movie and thought, this reminds me of Renesmee. Never crossed my mind once. So I personally didn't have any issues with the CGI. I thought it was great. The only issue I actually had with Fantastic Four was I felt like it could have been longer. I think this is a common complaint I've been seeing, and I don't even really want to call it a complaint. That's kind of a good thing for people to like the movie that much, to be asking for more of it. The pacing was a little off, so I feel like to some people it felt very rushed, or that there was parts missing. We know that there was obviously scenes that were cut out, but I could have used I would have been fine with 20 extra minutes in the movie. Yes, the pacing the pacing is a little bit off. You're gonna see if you go to watch it, you have to use Sue's pregnancy journey and then the growth of the baby to be able to tell how much time has passed. And I think for some viewers that may get a little confusing. So personally, I think that they should have kept the time cards in. Apparently, a test audience voted for them to be removed, and I think that they should have just kept them in, because them putting a little card in that's 6 months later or 1 year later wouldn't have made that much of a difference. I think that is why people were confused on the timeline of the movie while it was going on. So that is one thing to keep in mind. It's not overly confusing. You'll definitely be able to still follow along with it, but just know you're probably going to want more. Honestly, I would have loved just 20 minutes more of the family just interacting with each other and bantering and making jokes, because I loved the characters that much. And it was refreshing to see that dynamic, because I feel like we haven't seen that with the MCU in a while. Post Endgame, I've liked all the post Endgame stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's obvious that they went through such a traumatic thing, and there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. And so all the characters are like kind of broken, trying to figure out what like the next move is. I would have liked the extra time just to see them interact more, but also just to make the pacing a little bit better. That's literally the only complaint I have. Like everything else is like great about this movie. I think you're gonna love it if you're like wondering if you should see it in theaters. If you can, I would. We saw it in IMAX. Each of the characters had their own strengths, and it was really showcased well in this movie. So we actually get to finally see that the Fantastic Four is a smart bunch of people. Silver Surfer actually surfing was awesome. It was so exciting. Anytime she was in a scene, I was like, my eyes were glued to the screen. I was just like completely captivated by Silver Surfer. And yeah, her interactions with them were great, and she's perfect. Johnny Storm was great. I loved him. I think he was probably my favorite. I think him and Peter Parker would be hilarious on screen together. They've already brought it up in interviews with him, so pretty sure it's inevitable because you'll see, but they would be great together. I really loved the whole cast. Like, I really loved all of them. Obviously, Vanessa Kirby, incredible, absolutely amazing Sue Storm, and without a doubt in my mind, she could easily carry the MCU for a while if she wanted to. Honestly, I'm really excited to see the Avengers reactions to meeting the Fantastic Four in the future movies. Obviously, Doomsday, that will be when they're coming next, since we already have the full cast lineup. I just can't wait to see like how the interaction is going to go at first. I'm curious. Honestly, I hope they make Doomsday kind of long. Thinking about the cast lineup, I can't say after seeing this movie, the future of Fantastic Four is definitely feeling very strong. I think they're going to make an impact on the Avengers on coming together as a family, because personally, I think that that's something that they're struggling with. And we already kind of, if you've seen Thunderbolts, you kind of already know that's going to be the direction they're kind of like leading towards, because they're going to come in and they're just such a strong team together. It's going to be like, okay, what? Like, I don't know. That's my guess on it. Overall, movie's great. I would rate it, I think I would rate it like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I only knocked it down a half because, like I said, the pacing, I could have used more, which again, really isn't a knock, but like, I want more. I really enjoyed it. I feel like now that I've had like a couple days to kind of like let it soak into my brain, I can't wait to see it again, because that's when you really put everything together, do the math. I feel that after seeing Thunderbolts, and after seeing Fantastic Four, those two movies, in my opinion, really are setting the pace forward for Doomsday. I would suggest watching Thunderbolts if you haven't seen it yet, and then watching Fantastic Four. I think it's going to get you really excited to see Fantastic Four if you watch Thunderbolts first. I want to know what your guys' ratings are, so leave that in the comments below. But we have more to discuss. If you have been enjoying this little spoiler-free review, I will be doing them for more Marvel movies in the future. Definitely Doomsday, definitely Spider-Man. So make sure that you click like and subscribe so you can be here for the future reviews. And if you haven't seen the movie yet, I want you to come back to this video after you watch the movie and hop into the discussion with us, because everybody is chit-chatting about the post-credit scene, and we need you to be here for that. So this is your warning. We are going into spoiler territory now. So pause it, come back later. Okay, I've given you enough time to do that, so now we're gonna start talking about spoilers. I'm not gonna go too deep into like discussing the entire film, but I will discuss my like favorite part of it, touching back on earlier in the video when I brought up that I'm pregnant with my first child, and he's a boy too. I think that anybody that was a mom watching it would feel the same way. And the part when she uses her power to like show the baby in her womb, I was literally like, I was literally brought to tears. I was like, that is it. Because when you go to like ultrasounds, it obviously does not look like that. So seeing it in that way was just like crazy for me. And like my baby was kicking during the movie too. So it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, It was great. It was breathtaking. Honestly, it really was. I think that her being able to push Galactus into the teleporter thingy mabob. I think that was, people were kind of, I've been seeing conversations around it, and I've seen people sort of confused about how she was able to do it because he's so strong and yada yada yada. He wasn't defeated. He was just pushed to the faraway world, so he has a really big possibility of coming back. But I think the reason why they did that was because it was a nod towards moms and the strength that they get, not necessarily just her strength as like a superhero, but like her strength as a mom. And now that I'm gonna be a mom, I was like, I get it. Her death and Reed's reaction to it, Pedro Pascal, I don't think he was miscast in this. I've seen some controversy around it. I don't think he was. He made me cry during that part. I don't know about you guys, but I think most people would have cried for that. It was just so good. I knew at that moment this movie did a really good job because not only did it tell us their story as characters, but it also got us emotionally connected to them. And I think that happened with Thunderbolts as well. They were more like dysfunctional family, and Fantastic Four is more like well put together, supportive, healthy family. Okay, let's talk the mid credit scene. I was one of the people that, like, when it happened, I audibly was like, oh, I knew it was gonna give us something for like Doomsday, because that's when we're gonna see them next. But it was so exciting seeing Dr. Doom, and he removed his mask. That was like one of the biggest questions people had when they announced Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. Will he remove the mask or not? And he did. I have stuff written down. I have it written down. I noticed earlier in the movie, during one of the meetings, Latveria was missing. There was no one there. Latveria is where Doom is from. That's like, he governs it. Earlier in the film, they're already mainly setting up Doomsday in this movie, like without having Doom heavily in it. Another thing I noticed earlier in the movie, in the beginning of the movie, Reed is discussing interdimensional travel. This is the scene where he's talking to like a group of kids and they all look bored, and then he ends up blowing something up. He's talking about interdimensional travel in that scene. I think that's like another little Easter egg that they have given us to kind of clue us in that the Fantastic Four is going to interdimensionally travel to the Earth that we know that has the Avengers on it. There's probably more things that happen in the movie, but like I've only seen it once, so I can't really pick everything up. So why was his mask off? What was Franklin doing? These are the two questions I've been seeing circling the internet. Some people believe that Franklin is healing Dr. Doom's face, scars, whatever. I personally feel like maybe it was a manipulation tactic because it's a child, and maybe he's trying to be like, oh, I'm not a monster, I'm taking my mask off and trying to like warm up to the kid, because obviously this Franklin is a huge ordeal. Okay, so let me preface, I did not read the comics, but I do know a little bit of his lore. I've been doing some research. I know that he has the ability to bring people back to life, and I do know that there are parts in the comics where Doom uses Franklin to bring people back, like Wanda, for example. I know that it's like, I've seen and read several different theories about the post-credit scene with Dr. Doom. What are his intentions? Also referencing back to the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, which, if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, I'm going to bring up the post-credit scene now. They show the Fantastic Four ship flying in, and I've seen some people be like, oh, that ship is different from the ship in the movie. But we have to remember that in the post-credit scene for Fantastic Four, it is 4 years later, so it realistically wouldn't be the same exact ship from that they used earlier in the movie. Also, this ship would be built for interdimensional travel, so it's probably a brand new ship. And I'm gonna guess also that Franklin is going to be taken by Dr. Doom. I think it's going to be probably the beginning of Doomsday. I don't know, this is just my guess, but I feel like they're gonna hop back and forth a little bit between until they all come together at the end. I think they're gonna show like Dr. Doom taking Franklin and then heading to the Avengers Earth, and then resurrecting Wanda, yada, yada, yada. Possibly Agatha, too. I think that Fantastic Four, with the fact that we know that Reed is already looking into interdimensional travel, going to build a new ship and head over to try and get Franklin. I don't really know, because in the Thunderbolts like post-credit scene, they have no hint whatsoever that Doom is even on Earth yet. So we really don't know. It could have been Doom stole the ship and is the one in there. It could be that as well. So I'm curious to know what you guys think of the whole ship situation. Who's in it? Is it Fantastic Four? Do you think it's Doom? What do you think they're going there for? Another thing I noticed in the post-credit scene was that Franklin is being read a book by Sue, and it's The Very Hungry Caterpillar, which is Galactus, and she finishes the book, she closes it and puts it away and grabs A Fly Went By. I think I couldn't really see that well, but I'm pretty sure it was A Fly Went By. This book is about a chase that creates a chain reaction. It's kind of like another reason why I'm like thinking about it in that sense, because it's like they're going to be chasing each other. So maybe Fantastic Four took the ship and they took Franklin, and then Doctor Doom follows them there. I literally can't wait to see it, because my brain is already like zooming of theories and thoughts. I love talking theories. It's like one of my favorite things to do. We have definitely entered a new era. I think all the fillers are done, which is what I call them. The movie and some of the shows, I think some of the shows and some of the movies will have a really important impact on like telling us the story of Doomsday and future Avengers films. But for the most part, was like tying up loose ends, which makes sense to me, because I'd rather them do that than them just like hop into the craziness. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any theories, thoughts, spoilers you want to discuss. What was your favorite parts of the movie? I want to know it all. I have been really enjoying reading people's posts about this movie. It's been a really fun one to discuss, I think. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see the next one, make sure to click like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.